Welcome back, loungers. You are with your host, DJ Mary B. Welcome back. We are back in the studio, guys. Yes. If it's your first time, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. And if you're back, welcome back, loungers. First and foremost, I did want to take the time to thank the mothers that came on the show. For our Mother's Day special, we had Shanika, we had Roxanne, and we had Tamika. Thank you guys so much for sharing your journey with the viewers, and thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys got something from that. Our next episode that we have airing, that I have a special guest. But before I reveal this special guest, I wanted to give a shout out to our sponsor for the day. So our sponsor for the day is by Iconic Beauty Bar. So Iconic Beauty Bar is an initiative approach to the beauty industry. They're infusing high-end beauty services with exquisite cocktails and champagne. So they're unique for their cocktail menu, and what inspired them was just having different flavors and liquors from around the world. So their mission is to build confidence and empower all women who come in so that they can have a good time and enjoy their drinks. So this is the Iconic Beauty Bar. I think this is super dope and what it comes with. It's bagged. It's really good. So we will leave the link down below so that you guys can find them and you guys can support them. All right, guys. So our next guest coming is going to be Latoya from BB Can. So hang in there because she's going to share her journey and we're going to have a really good conversation. You don't want to miss this. Hi, loungers. Welcome back. Today, our special guest is Latoya Anderson. Hello, Latoya. Thank you so much for coming on the City Lounge.
And thank you for having me. I've been so excited to come on here today and chat with you. So Thank you.
This has been planned since last year because I seen you doing something when you got into your fitness competition. But before we get into that down the road, I want you to introduce yourself and the many hats that you wear.
Yes, so as Mary B mentioned, I am Latoya Anderson. I am 34 years old. I'm a police officer. I've been a police officer for 5 years. Prior to that, I was a correctional officer. But I'm also a fashion designer. I have my own swimwear line, Nude Swim. I am a fitness enthusiast. I love life and I love being a role model and just giving back in any way that I can through service of everything that I do.
And that is why you are here. That's why you're here. I love to have good people, good role models, that good energy, people to come and share their story. And I really loved your story. And I love that, when me and you sat down and we talked, the things that we talked about, being Black women and the things that we go through. So I wanted you to take us down the journey. And also I want you to let everybody know what you represent. What you represent being a Black officer, being a woman.
First and foremost, what I want to say is that I want to represent the multifaceted woman, especially being a Black woman. I feel that my journey wasn't easy, right? Mm-hmm. I have a degree in criminology, and when I came out of university, I thought I have a degree, I'm just gonna get my dream job, I'm gonna make $100K a year, I'm gonna buy my dream house, get married, have kids, and boom, everything was just gonna happen for me, and that was not the case. So when I came out of university, I applied to policing. I did not get in right away, and I was devastated. I've always been super, super hard on myself, so I ended up applying to be a correctional officer in Alberta, and I got the job, and within seconds, I was literally packing my bags and moving to Alberta. No friends, no family, nothing, because I thought that, or I felt and knew that policing was something that I wanted so badly that I was going to do whatever it took to make me the most competitive. And when I was ready to apply again, there was nothing that they could say to me why I couldn't get the job. I was going to be their best candidate, and I was. And that's how I landed my career. That's why I'm a police officer today, because I did not give up. I did not let a no or a closed door get in the way of what I wanted to do. I didn't have what they wanted at the time, so I got what they wanted.
Exactly. You made sure that when you went and applied again, there was no reason. Like, you're not going to tell me no.
Right.
You're not going to tell me, oh, well, you just got the job because you're black.
Right.
Because we hear that all the time.
Right. It wasn't going to be because I was black. It was going to be because I have the skills and the abilities to do this job, and I'm more than capable to do this job.
Yes.
So I put myself in a situation where I had to make a lot of sacrifices. I mean, I didn't enjoy my time being in Alberta, but I did what I had to do. I went there, I worked my ass off, I saved, I paid off my debt, I traveled, and I made sure that I put myself in a position where I was competitive and I was gonna accomplish my goals. I said I was gonna go out there and stay there for 3.5 years, and 3.5 years came, and I was just like, okay, like it's time to move.
Yeah.
And I literally did it.
And you feel good when you set goals and you accomplish them, right?
Yeah, like that's the best thing that you can do, and especially when, like, even my size, like I'm 5'2", I weigh 130 pounds, and so even when I told people that I wanted to be a police officer, they automatically looked at me and said, well, you don't look like a police officer, like you're so tiny, like you can't do it. Okay.
I'm gonna show you.
I'm gonna show you.
I'm gonna
do this, right? And that's why I'm here today, and I'm grateful that I didn't give up. I'm grateful that, you know, I use my obstacles as motivation to keep going. If you tell me I can't do something, I'm gonna show you that I can do it. Absolutely.
Facts.
So yeah, and that's kind of the message and the role model that I want to be for other women, especially black women who aspire to be police officers or anything that they want to be, really, is that you can do it. It's really not about the failures that you endure in life, but it's what you do after you fail, right?
Yes, I love that.
Because I've failed so many times. Things don't always work out the first time around. Sometimes you have to learn. Sometimes you have to get better. Sometimes you have to study. Sometimes you have to elevate. Sometimes you just need time to grow, right? And I think instead of taking that no or those closed doors and saying, well, this isn't for me, or I can't do this, well, let me get what I need to get so I can get where I need to go.
Period. Poo. And you know, I always like to let people know that I feel like it does start with, you know, that self-love, that self-connection, that like, yo, I'm gonna do it, you know what I mean? Set those goals, write it down, and just have that mentality like there's nothing that I can't do. You know? And I feel like when we had our pre-interview, what I loved is that you were telling me that being a black officer, you love that when you come to people's homes, they feel at ease because they have someone that represents them. They have somebody that looks like them. Tell us about those experiences.
Yeah, and you know, I think also too with the climate of the world and everything that's going on, you know, as we can see, like with police brutality, systemic racism, I think, you know, I get a lot of criticism for being a black officer. A lot of people are like, oh, you know, you're a sellout, or why are you doing this job, or why are you working for this system that basically wasn't designed for us, wasn't built for us. But I'm an individual, and I'm in this career because I truly want to be a part of change. I truly want to make a difference, and representation matters, right? Are we gonna say there should be no black educators, there should be no black lawyers, there should be no black judges? That sounds ridiculous, right? Exactly. How do you know that you can be something and you can achieve something if you don't see somebody like you in that position, right? So and the reality is that my presence is so important now, because when I walk into a home with a family with, you know, that's from, you know, Jamaican descent, or even Trinidad or Grenada or wherever it may be, and I understand the accent and I understand the culture and I understand their way of life and how they move and even how they talk, how they discipline their kids, that makes a huge difference.
It does.
Right? I speak their language. I understand their experience, and that's why it's important to have representation, and that's why I'm here, and that's why I wear my uniform with pride. I love being a police officer. I'm not going to quit my job because, you know, there are problems that we need to overcome in society and within the profession itself, because let's be honest, there's racism everywhere. There's racism in the education system, there's racism in policing, there's racism every single where you go, right? People are bad, right? people are bad. Take away my badge, take away my uniform, take away your title, take away your status, take away all those things and strip you down, and you are a person, right? And what I bring to the table is Latoya Anderson, and what I bring to the table is a person that is serving my community, that is going to do the best that I can to do my job with integrity, to make a difference, one call at a time, one interaction at a time, and that is just the best that I can do. My best is the best that I can offer, and I just hope that people can see that, right? And that the work that I do can make a difference. And I'll take the backlash, and I'll take the hate, I'll take all of that. Because listen, when you call 911, I'm still going lights and sirens. You could be black, blue, white, red, yellow, I'm still coming. You can hate me, I'm still coming. Right? And so that's what I try to remember. I'm not gonna lie, like the last couple years being in this profession has been very difficult, right? Because I'm black first. You know, at the end of the day, when I go home, I take off my uniform, and when I get in my car and I drive on the street, I'm black. Do you know what I mean? That doesn't go away. So I feel the pain of the black community, because I am the black community, I'm a part of that, but then I also feel the pain and the hate of being a police officer, and the judgment and the criticism that comes with that. And sometimes you feel like the work that you do doesn't matter, it's not important. It goes unnoticed. Because it goes unnoticed, because all people see is police, right? But I also understand that. And I don't want to diminish that or take away from that, because I understand that a lot of people don't have that good experience, they don't have that rapport, they don't have that relationship, and they don't have that connection. So I don't blame them for that as well. I wear it, I take it, I'll take it.
But I love the way that you're advocating for other cops or police officers that are like you and that got into policing with the same integrity that you did to make a change. You know what I mean? So I love that you came and you said your piece, because there's going to be other people out there that can maybe sit back from a mature perspective and be like, okay, but I love that you still acknowledge that, you know what, I understand where they're coming from. You know, and that's big of you too.
Because it's not where like just they're coming from, it's me too. It's us, it's all of us. Literally right?
All of
I
us.
feel it too, right? So it's not them against us. We're all in this together, right? So that's the piece there. We're all feeling the pain. We're all going through it. And like I said, I can only do the best that I can do. And
continue doing the best that you can do. So I love the way that you show up in a room and your energy is there. I want you to take us back to how your mother raised you, because I know that me and you were talking about growing up as dark-skinned girls, and I want you to talk about your experience, because I loved your experience, because I feel like somebody that's out here that's watching it, they could be like, all right. So tell us about your experience and how your mother raised you, and you know, your background and your journey.
So shout outs to my mom, Aleth Anderson. I mean, you are a queen. My mom is low-key my bestie, even though she annoys the shit out of me at times. She is low-key my bestie, and why I love my mom so much and I always shout her out is because I am who I am because of my mother, because of the confidence and the strength that she instilled in me. And growing up, even though being a dark-skinned black woman, you feel that you're different, and you know that you're different. I can't say that I ever felt that I was less than, because that's not how my mom raised me. My mom raised me, and I know this might sound like weird or cocky, and it's not cocky, but she raised me to feel and to know and to think that I was better or just as good as everybody else, right? That. And my mom was always on my team, right? She was always Team Toya. She was always Team Latoya. I could do no wrong. And even if I did wrong, she was always gonna have my back and always gonna defend me. So I grew up with a confidence knowing that I was a queen, I was beautiful, I was worthy, I can accomplish this. You know, going to university wasn't an option for me, right? It was mandatory. I had to make something of myself, and I always had this fear of like not pleasing my mom or not making her proud. And although it's a lot of pressure, it's what's driven me over my years to be ambitious and to go after my goals and to get what I wanted out of life. And so have I had encounters where people were like, you know, yeah, like you're pretty for a dark-skinned girl, or it made you feel inferior or less than, or you knew that, you know, being dark-skinned you were looked at differently? Absolutely. But did that affect me, or did I allow that to affect the way I moved
or how you viewed yourself
or how I viewed myself. Absolutely not.
And I love that. And I feel like, you know, young girls out there, they need to hear that.
Right.
They need to hear that even though society has this way of beauty, it doesn't matter. You are beautiful because we all have different sized noses. We all have different sized eyes, but take what God gave you and just be yourself. Be your authentic self. Be ambitious.
Yep.
Be ambitious.
You
know
have
what I
to
mean?
appreciate what you have. You have to love your lips and your broad nose, and you cannot allow other people to validate who you are.
Facts.
You just can't. You have to know your value and know your worth, and that really doesn't come from anybody else but yourself.
And I would love to give a shout out to Black women because they stay buying what we naturally have.
Yes.
Our lips, our bum,
our nose,
everything that we have, our cheekbones, our hair, everything. People are buying what we naturally have. So what does that say?
Right.
So, you know, just love yourself, you know, have that mentality. We need to raise not just only Black women, but Black little boys as well, that you are enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It starts in the mind.
Yeah.
And so I want you to take us on the journey on how you got into your fitness competition. How did that go with your fitness competition? Do you want to talk about nude swim or your fitness competition first?
Okay, so I will talk about my fitness competition first. Nude swim came first, but my fitness competition came afterwards. And I'm just like out here, and one of my friends, shout outs to Danelle Igwe, one day she messaged me and she was just like, she sent me the link to the fitness competition and she was just like, girl, like, you're perfect for this. Like, you should do this. And I was just like, really? And she was just like, yeah. And I remember us talking about having friends
that mention your name in a room full of opportunities. Shout out to friends like that.
Shout outs to friends like that want to see you grow and who see an opportunity for you and know that this aligns with who you are and what you're about. And that's so important. And I literally just put in my application, not really thinking anything of it, not even knowing where it was gonna go or if I was gonna get it or not. And I got the opportunity and they responded and said, yeah, you're in. And then I just became so physically and emotionally invested in this competition and in building a community and a tribe that would follow me along the journey, that would support me along the journey. And, you know, this was important for me because fitness is something that I love. It's something that is a part of my life daily as a coping mechanism, as a way of life, as self-care, as health, as my outlet. And so to be able to share that journey with everybody in that way was really, really special. And also, I feel like there's so many Black women, Black people in fitness that do not get recognized in fitness magazines. Yeah. Right? So for me, going through the process and learning that, I was just like, how cool would it be for like a dark-skinned chick to be on the cover of
a fitness magazine,
of Hers Muscle and Fitness magazine? How cool would that be, right? And again, we go back to representation and back to young Black girls seeing that and saying, oh my God, like I can do that. That's the point.
That is the goal. I feel like that is the goal. I feel like any woman that wants to get into something inspiring, whether it be in a fitness competition, whatever it is that she wants to do, like the mothers that I had making jewelry, I'm doing podcasts. We need people to see people like us so that they can feel like, yo, I can do it. Yeah. We need to share our journeys so people can relate. Yeah. Right? And so I remember when I seen you and we were voting, right? And I remember reading, like, you know, because you had the caption, you're like, you know, the first Black. I was like, no, we need this. And that is initially why I wanted you to come on the City Lounge. Because I was like, I felt like that was super dope. Like, when I seen you, I was like, yo, like that's a wicked representation of us. The first Black woman to be on the fitness competition. So how far did that go? And then what did that lead into?
So basically I made it to the final 10, the final 10 competitors. First of all, there was thousands of applicants. I think the competition started off with 20,000 women, and I made it into the top 10. I placed 7th, and I got a full page spread in Hers Muscle and Fitness magazine, and I was happy. I think that's a win, right? Definitely. I didn't get the cover, but it's still a win for me.
Yes.
Because I did something that was outside of my comfort zone. I made myself very vulnerable. And for me, that's the win right there, is to show women, Black women especially, it's always going to be about Black women for me, that yes, you can do it. You can be a police officer, and you can put yourself out there, and you can be vulnerable, and you could accomplish fitness goals. You can accomplish goals outside of whatever your career is. You don't have to just be one thing. And I think that's a part of my message, is that when we grow up as kids, everybody asks us, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And everybody says, like, oh, I want to be a doctor, a lawyer, a singer, an actor, or this or that. But you don't have to just be one thing.
Yes.
You can be so many things in one.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like for you, why I feel like that's also a win too, because I feel like has any other Black women made it that far, or? Yeah,
so there was actually 2 Black women in the top 10. It was me and another Black lady. I don't know her personally, but she was also in the top 10. And I don't even remember what place she came, but just the 2 of us was in the top 10.
That's dope. You know, I love to see sisters going out there and doing their thing.
Thank you.
And how did that land you the opportunity of being on BB Can, because I know there's going to be enough BB Can, Big Brother Canada. A lot of them are going to be watching this, you know, watching your journey, watching your story. So how was that experience being on BB Can? And let's talk about, you know, what you went through and how you were viewed. And I feel like once people watch this, it's just going to be a whole different view, because a lot of the things they probably just didn't even know.
Yeah, so the fitness competition ended, and, you know, I was just like, okay, like, what now? Like, what am I gonna do? And then, you know, I got the opportunity to be on Big Brother Canada season 9, and I mean, again, I was scared. I do everything in fear, not in a bad way. And I say that a lot, and people are like, no, Toya, like, you don't move in fear, like, you know. And I don't say that in a bad way. I say that in a good way of, if something doesn't make you nervous or uneasy or uncomfortable, then why are you doing it?
Facts.
Right? So when I say I do things in fear, it doesn't mean that I'm not confident. And it also doesn't mean that I don't have doubt as well, but I still move through that doubt and through that fear, if that makes sense, right? Because that's what pushes me, and that's personal to me, right?
And that's how you grow.
And that's how I grow.
You have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, because being uncomfortable is related to growth.
Exactly.
Period.
So I got the opportunity to be on Big Brother Canada season 9, and I stepped into it not knowing what I was really getting myself into, but I thought, okay, this is an opportunity once again to create a platform where I can be and show and exemplify the multifaceted woman, where I could be a role model for Black women, where I could represent my career, I could represent Black women, I could, you know, display my fashion, my swimwear line, Nude Swim. I could display fitness, I could display all these things, I could exemplify all of these things that I am.
Yes.
And just be a role model for women. And so I said, I have nothing to lose. Why not? And so I went on Big Brother, and it was an amazing experience. I stepped outside of my comfort zone. For the first time, I came out that I was bisexual, which was huge for me, because that journey for me has not been easy. I did not get the support that I needed from my close family and friends when I initially came out. And so I think that when we think about Big Brother season 9 and the diversity that cast brought, there were so many house guests that were from the LGBT community that also shared their story, and that empowered me and gave me the strength to also
come out and say that
and share my story and really own it and walk in my truth. Right? So that experience was incredible. There was so much growth in just being able to sit with myself, being able to learn from the other house guests, and just being able to step outside of my comfort zone. It's probably one of the hardest things that I've ever done in my life.
Like we're watching you 24/7. Like, even when, you know, the episode is not airing, they had the camera.
They had the cameras on. Yeah. And then, you know, that experience was, you know, coming out of that experience was challenging for me, because, you know, when you're in the house, you don't know how you're being portrayed. You don't know what they're showing of you. So coming out of the house, I saw a lot of microaggression that was displayed towards me. a lot of gaslighting, and that was heartbreaking for me, and that I took that personal because I think that some of the house guests, they don't realize how their actions have real implications in my life.
Real life, yeah.
In my real life, outside of the show. It's all fun and games when you're in the house and you think you're playing a game. That's great, but these actions and behaviors, they affect Black people in real life.
Exactly.
Right? And so I feel like, you know, I was portrayed as this like intimidating, hardcore, aggressive,
always portraying Black women like this.
Right.
Why? But why?
And although I am I can be serious at times, and I'm very direct, and I'm a straight shooter, and I'm honest, and I'm stern. I can be all those things. But then there's all these other sides of me that was not shown, right?
Yeah. But why is it that when Black women are assertive, we stick up for ourselves? Another race can be like that, but why are we always aggressive?
Right.
Right? Why are we always known as aggressive?
Right. And you know, that's the thing that, you know, is hard for me to swallow, because there was other house guests on the show that were, you know, light-skinned Black people or other house guests that weren't of color that displayed, you know, behavior or actions that to me were more aggressive. I was so calm, collective, cool, didn't yell, except for that one incident where, you know, I blew up in the pantry on Keith because of Keith. Right? I mean, I had to have, that's my boy.
But you're human though, right? You're human.
That's my boy. I saw him in there and I just had to step in. But I feel like as a dark-skinned Black woman, people meet you and they already have a preconceived idea of who you are and what you're about and what your attitude and character and personality is before they even meet you, and they label you and they stereotype you and they put you into this category regardless of how you display yourself, because at no point on the show was I ever, you know, aggressive. Right?
Yeah.
I was confident.
I know.
And that may come off as intimidating, but at no point was I aggressive. And so to be labeled like that, to me, I took that personal, and that was heartbreaking for me.
And I feel like you going through that experience, you were able to relate to other women who have been called aggressive when they weren't aggressive. Yep. Because I feel like it's a major word in the Black community as women. They're always displaying us as aggressive. They feel like we have no feelings, we can't feel, like all these other things. Like they felt like, okay, well, we're gonna call Toya that. Maybe the way you portrayed yourself on TV, they didn't know that, okay, well, you have real feelings. Right. You're gonna see what they tweeted. Yeah. It's gonna affect you in some way because you know that's not who you are. Yeah. So, absolutely. You know, like I don't know why we do this to Black women, and I know that we did talk about, you know, colorism starting from back in slavery days, and it plays a big part in the Black community mental, because Black people are against Black people with light skin, dark skin. You know what I mean? Started from slavery, brown paper bag, house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we talked about that, and we talked about that discrimination even between within our race and colorism, and how that really stems back from that, you know, that paper bag theory of, you know, if you were lighter skin, you know, you could work in the house and you could
get treated differently
and better. So I think that those are those you know, historical discrimination and things that we've been through from back in the day. Like, we're still dealing with those things, right? We're still feeling the effects of it. We're still doing it. We're still doing it today.
We're still doing it, you know, and it's unfortunate, because I just feel like when another person of color sees us, they don't see light skin and dark skin. They just see Black. You know what I'm saying? So it's unfortunate that we're still here, you know? Yeah. But, you know, it's unfortunate that had to play out on BB Can as well. Yeah. It's unfortunate that you had to experience that, being you weren't the only Black person, but you were the only
aggressive Black person.
Right. You know what I mean?
Even when other people were, in my opinion, way more aggressive than I am. And it's not just, and I think it's in society, period. Yes. It's everywhere you go, right? It's like I said, it's in the education system. It's something that we just have to deal with in our life all the time. But like, how do we break that? Like, how do we stop that? It's almost like you have to be really like docile and submissive and and quiet and fragile for people to view you as not aggressive. You almost have to dim your light.
Yes, and we've been doing that for years. And I watched an episode of, because I love me some Jada Pinkett Smith. Like, this whole thing inspired me because of Jada Pinkett Smith. And, you know, I was watching her episode with, you know, Black women and like how they view us, like they think we're so strong that we don't feel pain.
Yeah.
So a lot of Black women lose their lives after having children because they don't want to give them pain medication. We have to, like you said, dim our lights. They don't believe when we're lawyers or doctors. There's so many things. There's so much discrimination against us, and we don't know how to change it. I don't know how it's going to change. I think it does start with us, but it's all about knowledge. It's all about being woke and all that extra stuff.
Yeah.
So,
and I think it also too starts with conversation, right?
Yes, like this.
Yes.
This
is what it starts with. It starts with us sitting down and saying, this was my experience and this isn't okay.
It's not okay. It's not okay. So, you know, I want women out there, you know, if you do come across discrimination, you have the right to stand up for yourself, period.
Yeah, and speak out on it.
Speak out on it. Don't be afraid. Don't dim your light when you go in a room.
And that's another thing. Don't dim your light.
Do not dim your light.
For nobody.
No.
For nobody. Be confident. Take up space. Walk in a room and own it.
Yes.
Because you deserve a seat at that table. You deserve to be there. You're there for a reason. And don't let nobody tell you that you should not be there.
I love that.
Point blank, period.
Period. Poo.
Doesn't matter whose feelings you hurt. Doesn't matter who you intimidate. Take up space.
Yeah. And don't apologize for it.
And don't apologize for it. Yes.
Be you. Be authentically yourself. And I feel like, you know, you wanted to be Buchanan. I feel like you did that.
And that was,
I felt like you did that. I felt like you represented us. You represented your swim line. Before we get into your swim line, I want you to shout out your BB Can family.
Yes, I want to shout out my BB Can family, my boys. Kiefer, keep it real. He is dropping his merch soon. Jedson, my boy Jedson, and my boy Ty. He is Big Brother Canada Season 9 winner. Tashawn, you did the thing. I love these guys. They are like family to me. And, you know, we hear a lot, you know, lately that, you know, Black men don't protect Black women. Black men don't support Black women. And honestly, these Black men,
they showed up for you.
They showed up for me, and I showed up for them,
yes,
right?
You did.
And we had this amazing bond and this platonic relationship where we really showed Canada and viewers that you can care for people and you can love people. And this is how we should be navigating. This is how we should be moving with each other as Black people, right?
I agree.
You know, my bond with Kiefer, we would just literally sit for hours in silence and just vibe out because we just had that connection, right?
Yeah.
And this is the kind of connection that we need to be having with people, caring and loving for people.
I agree, because, you know, I feel like the kind of relationships that you have with people, it really does start with yourself.
Yes.
Like, if you love yourself, you show up for yourself, you don't look at people negatively because you're moving in love.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So based off of your relationships with people, it does determine your relationships with other people.
Yes, it does.
And you know, obviously you demonstrated that because you got along with those guys. They showed up for you for you.
Yeah.
And I loved to see, you know, Black people having each other's back.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I love to see that. I love to see that. And I love that they looked out for you.
Yeah.
Because they were like, we looking out for Toya.
Yeah.
Right away,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
So shout out to those guys for holding you down.
Yes.
And before you go, I wanted to give you the floor about your swim line.
Yes.
Because not only are you a police officer, not only were you on the on the fitness magazine, and not only were you in BB Can, you also have your own swim line.
Yes.
Your swimwear line.
Yes. And you know what? It was so cool to be able to wear my swimwear on Big Brother Season 9, to wear something that I created, something that I'm so passionate about, something that I put my heart and my passion into. You know, I created Nude Swim at a time in my life where I was at my lowest point. I was not loving myself. I was not taking care of myself. I was not feeling good about myself. So I needed something to pull me out of that, I guess, sunken place. Yeah. And I know nothing about sewing. I know nothing about fashion. designing, but I decided that I was just gonna like drive downtown, buy some fabric, and start like sketching stuff. And I was Googling pattern makers and seamstresses and literally just winging it. And I created something that made me feel good about myself.
Yeah.
And I created something that was mine, that I was proud of. And then it became something that I wanted to share with other women, that I wanted other women to put on, and it would be an accessory really to the beauty that you already embody.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So it really is about, you know, my brand Nude Swim is really about loving yourself as you are while still working towards what you want to be, your other goals, right?
Yeah.
And like, I want Nude Swim to just be an accessory to that. Like, you put it on and you just feel good about yourself, right? With your stretch marks, you know, like, even if you have a little tummy, if you're slim, if you're tall, if you're short, if you're voluptuous, if you're curvy, if you're straight, right? But you still feel good about yourself and who you are. And so that's really what Nude Swim is about for me anyways. And that's what I want it to be for other women. So it was really cool to be able to wear it on BB Can and just, you know, disguise my profession when I was on there and just be this fashion designer and just rock it out. So yeah.
And you look great doing it, girl.
Thank you.
Yes, I love that. So where can people find you? Where can they find Nude Swim?
Yeah, so you can find my personal Instagram at toya.alicia. You can find Nude Swim at nude.swim. The website is www.nud3swim.com. Support your girl.
Yes, support Black businesses. And before we go, what is something you would like to leave with our viewers who probably, you know, you have girls like I used to feel very insecure about myself and I didn't feel confident, that maybe watching this, what would you like to leave with them?
What I would like to leave with people is be good to yourself. First and foremost, choose yourself first above everybody else. Be selfish and surround yourself with like-minded people, people who want to see you grow, people who want to see you win.
That's so important. That is so important.
People who believe in you.
People who water you.
Yeah. Right? People who have the space for you. Like, recognize that sometimes people don't have the space for you. They can't hold that space for you to nurture you and to nourish you and to help you grow. And that's okay, but recognize that and then find your tribe.
Yes, find your tribe. I love that. Because your tribe will determine where you go.
Yes.
They're gonna push you when you don't want to be pushed. They're gonna pull you when you don't want to be pulled.
And they're gonna be honest with you, and they're gonna keep it real with you and tell you the things that sometimes maybe you don't want to hear, but you need to hear.
You need to hear it in order to reflect and to grow. I really love that, Toya, and I know people are gonna take away from that because I felt it. I felt like you're preaching, girl. Preach, sis. So on that note, guys, thank you for joining us. Toya, thank you for coming and dropping your gems and sharing your journey. And you know, just being an amazing representation for beautiful Black women.
Thank you for having me and
no worries,
creating
girl.
Space for me. I appreciate it.
I love linking up with women that have the same mind as me. Let's inspire. Right? It starts with us.
Yes.
So, loungers, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next week.